Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. It's time for our Impact Interview, and we're going to do things a little bit differently on this holiday weekend. Of course, we all hope you've had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday and holiday weekend, a feast of football always as we can enjoy that. We're going to talk a little turkey with author Jay Paterno, who has released a new book. Yes, we're talking about his book. We're not saying go out and buy it, but we are going to talk about some of the subjects. Of course, Jay would like you to buy the book. That is part of what we're doing here. But we want to talk about issues and subjects that come to about college football. And, you know, Jay's going to talk in more detail about it, but that's what has been the impetus and the motivation for him to write his series of books. First one, Hot Seat. Second one is called Blitz, the all-out pressure of college football's new era. It's a novel based on the current era of college football. So, Jay, first question comes, how real is this book?
Well, I've been consulting on NIL stuff with a group that's national, so you're talking about from all the way west to east and north and south schools, major schools. So the stories that are in this book have come from those experiences and the feedback we've gotten and some of the pressures that are involved. And so it is what I call nonfiction, fiction kind of thing, where these stories are all based on things that are actually going on in college football. So in that regard, this is the first real tell-all book of the NIL transfer portal age. In that regard, there's a lot there to digest.
Jay, I think I recognize some of those stories in the book. But anyway, you talk about the all-out pressures on these coaches. Is it that different now than has been in the past?
Well, the pressure's always been there for coaches. I think the thing that's different is the immediacy and the 24/7 nature of it. A guy can announce he's transferring on social media and you don't even know about it. I think the other thing is there's so many more people involved than there has been. There's more people. Yeah, they get paid a lot more money to coach. The fans expect more, but you also have more people that you're dealing with. And the book talks about analytics people, it talks about recruiting interns, it talks about all the people that are boosters or collectives involved in this element of it. It talks about the increasing role of women in terms of whether it's analytics or coaching and those things that are different. But they're making so much more money that you've got to expect that the pressure level is going to ratchet up, and it's become a much more professionalized game. And the pressure is also cranked up on the student athletes as well, which that mental health aspect is also discussed in the book.
Trustees and boosters, always been a part of college football. You've been a national consultant on NIL, and then, of course, a Board of Trustee member for Penn State. How much of that is from the element that you've experienced and those kind of politics that you cover in the book?
Well, some of the things that you're going to read about this are definitely things that go on the trustee level, the interest, that want to put their hands in things, want to be involved, want to dictate certain things. And on the flip side, from the booster standpoint, you know, you have people that a booster goes out and buys a player for NIL, and if that player's not playing, they're going to get in the coach's ear about, you know, I bragged upstairs about, I bought this guy for you guys for the program. He's not playing. I look like a jackass, you know, because the guy I went out and spent my money on. I mean, you've got situations where boosters are now saying, I want my guy in the game, and even saying, well, I want to look at film before I pay for the next guy. So, I mean, it is very real, and a lot of those things come from experiences both at Penn State and elsewhere.
You've kept this as a fiction novel, but you've told us that it's based on real stories. Any hints as to which stories came from which schools?
Don't want to get into that because, again,
I want you to, though.
I know, but I think the thing about it is that this is an eye-opening account for people. People that have read it have said, "Oh my God, I didn't realize these things are going on," but they are. But I've assigned the stories to schools randomly. So if anybody gets upset because I mentioned this school or that school in this story, it's completely random because I think it reads better if you don't create fictional schools. You know, when you see like college football movies and they make up like a school like Michigan Tech or something like that, or they make up a school. Michigan Tech's a real school. I don't mean to discount that, but the point is, if you're reading that, and it's hard to follow along. So by keeping it with real Big Ten schools or real SEC schools, it makes it easier to read. But again, it's not meant to assign intent to anybody, but it is real. These are stories that are going to, like I said, the first tell-all book of its kind.
Well, inquiring minds wanted to know. If you're interested in picking up a copy, you can find Blitz, the all-out pressure of college football's new era, on Amazon. We also have a link to it on our website, nittanygameweek.com. You can also check out Jay's other fiction book, Hot Seat, A Year Inside College Football's Pressure Cooker, and his nonfiction work, Paterno Legacy, Enduring Lessons from the Life and Death of My Father.